Two apartments, same city, same neighborhood, similar rent. The first apartment belongs to someone earning $95,000 a year. Walk inside, and you'll find a 75-inch television mounted on the wall, a $4,000 leather sectional, a kitchen full of appliances, most still in their boxes, closets overflowing with clothes, many with tags still attached, a spare bedroom converted into storage for things that haven't been touched in years. This person checks their bank account with a knot in their stomach. They're 2 missed paychecks away from crisis. The second apartment belongs to someone earning $52,000 a year. Walk inside and you'll notice space. A modest couch, a reasonably sized television, a kitchen with exactly the tools that get used, a closet with clothes that actually get worn. The spare bedroom is actually a bedroom. This person checks their bank account with calm confidence. They have 18 months of expenses saved and invest 20% of every paycheck. Same neighborhood. The person earning almost half as much has nearly 10 times the financial security. How is that possible? My name's Woof, and I've been obsessed with this question for months. Why do some people always have money while others never do, regardless of how much they earn? I started tracking people, watching their habits, comparing their choices, and I found something that changed how I see everything. The people who always have money aren't smarter. They don't have better jobs, they don't deprive themselves, they just understand one thing that everyone else misses. Every object you own costs money twice, and the second cost is almost always bigger than the first. The first cost is obvious, it's the price tag, the number on the receipt, but there's a second cost that most people completely ignore. Storage, maintenance, mental energy, opportunity cost. Let me show you what I mean. That treadmill you bought for $1,200? It takes up about 20 square feet in your home. Space costs roughly $30 to $50 per square foot annually in most cities. That's $600 to $1,000 per year in implicit rent. You're paying to store exercise equipment that probably hangs clothes most days. That boat sitting in your driveway? Annual maintenance runs about 10% of its value. A $30,000 boat costs $3,000 per year just to own, even if you never take it on the water. But it gets worse. Every item you own occupies a slice of your attention. It needs to be cleaned, organized, maintained, insured, worried about, and eventually disposed of. Researchers found that visual clutter increases cortisol levels and reduces your brain's ability to focus. Your stuff is literally stressing you out in ways you can't consciously perceive. And there's one more cost nobody calculates. Opportunity cost. Every dollar locked up in possessions is a dollar not invested. That $15,000 home gym setup could have been $15,000 in index funds, growing to $50,000 over 15 years. You didn't just buy a home gym. You bought a home gym instead of future financial freedom. When you add up these hidden costs, most possessions cost more to own than they cost to buy. The purchase price is just the entry fee. The ongoing costs continue for as long as you possess the item. That's when I realized something. The people who always have money aren't avoiding nice things. They've just calculated the true cost and decided most things aren't worth it. So I started studying them. The people who earn modest incomes but have massive savings. The ones who seem financially bulletproof. And I found they all follow the same rules. Not complicated strategies, not deprivation, just simple principles that completely change the math. These are the minimalist money rules that separate people who always have money from people who never do. Rule 1. Calculate cost per use before any purchase. Before buying anything, estimate how many times you'll realistically use it. Divide the total cost by that number. This gives you cost per use, the only honest measure of value. A $200 jacket worn twice costs $100 per wear. A $400 jacket worn 200 times costs $2 per wear. The expensive jacket is actually cheaper in any meaningful sense. This calculation destroys most impulse purchases immediately. That $300 kitchen gadget you'll use twice a year? That's $150 per use, an obscenely expensive way to accomplish whatever task it performs. Meanwhile, a $30 tool you use weekly costs less than 60 cents per use over the first year. The math cuts through marketing, emotion, and social pressure. It reveals what actually makes financial sense versus what just feels appealing in the moment. I watched someone apply this rule for 1 month. They avoided $2,400 in purchases they would have made without thinking. $2,400 in 1 month just by asking one question. Rule 2. Apply the replacement test to everything you own. Walk through your home and look at each item. Ask yourself one simple question. If this disappeared today, would I spend money to replace it? Be honest. Would you actually go buy another fondue set? Would you replace that bread maker collecting dust? Would you repurchase those clothes you haven't worn in 18 months? For most items, the answer is no. You would not replace them. They exist in your life through inertia, not intention. Impulse purchases, gifts you felt obligated to keep, remnants of past hobbies you've moved beyond. These items have negative value. They cost you space, mental energy, and maintenance without providing any benefit. I tried this myself. Walked through my place with brutal honesty. 47 items failed the test. 47 things I was storing, cleaning around, and organizing that I wouldn't even replace if they vanished. I sold what had value, donated the rest. The psychological weight that lifted was immediate. Rooms felt larger. Decisions felt simpler. Cleaning took half the time. Rule 3. Never upgrade out of boredom. Here's a pattern I see constantly among people who earn good money but have nothing to show for it. They upgrade perfectly functional items simply because they're bored or because newer versions exist. Their television works perfectly, but the new model has slightly better contrast. Their phone operates flawlessly, but the new release has a marginally improved camera. Their car runs reliably, but the New Year's model has updated styling. These upgrades feel like improvements. They're actually wealth destruction disguised as progress. The average American replaces their phone every 2 to 3 years, often while the previous phone works perfectly. Over 30 years, this pattern costs $30,000 to $50,000 in unnecessary purchases. Applied across all categories where upgrade culture operates, the lifetime waste easily exceeds $200,000. $200,000 gone for nothing. The people who always have money maintain a strict policy, never replace something that functions properly. Boredom is not failure. Desire for novelty is not failure. The existence of newer alternatives is not failure. Actual mechanical breakdown is failure. Everything else is marketing convincing you to solve problems you don't have. Rule 4. Create friction for spending and ease for saving. Human behavior follows the path of least resistance. If spending is easy and saving is difficult, you'll spend. If saving is easy and spending is difficult, you'll save. The people who always have money engineer their environment to make the right choice the easy choice. Spending friction looks like removing stored credit card numbers from online retailers, requiring a 24-hour waiting period before any non-essential purchase, deleting shopping apps, unsubscribing from promotional emails. Saving ease looks like automatic transfers to investment accounts on payday, keeping only small amounts in easily accessible checking, making contributions happen before you see the money. These structural changes matter more than willpower. Willpower depletes. Environment is constant. Someone relying on willpower to avoid impulse purchases will eventually fail when they're tired or stressed. Someone who deleted the shopping apps and removed their credit cards simply cannot impulse purchase in that moment. The 24-hour waiting rule alone eliminates roughly 70% of impulse purchases. Most desires for objects fade within a day, if not acted upon immediately. Rule 5. Understand the lifestyle multiplier effect. Every possession you own connects to other possessions. A boat requires a trailer, a hitch-equipped vehicle, storage fees, maintenance supplies, safety equipment, and appropriate clothing. A purchase that seems singular actually triggers a cascade of supporting purchases. This is the lifestyle multiplier. Major purchases multiply into ecosystems of related expenses. A home gym requires flooring, mirrors, storage solutions, ventilation, and often renovations. A pool requires chemicals, cleaning equipment, covers, furniture, maintenance tools, and landscaping. A motorcycle requires gear, storage, maintenance equipment, and often a truck or trailer for transport. The people who always have money calculate the full ecosystem cost before any major purchase. They know that a $5,000 purchase might actually represent $8,000 or $12,000 when all the multiplier expenses are included. This full accounting often transforms what seemed reasonable into something clearly excessive. The multiplier also works in reverse. Eliminating one major possession often eliminates an entire category of related expenses. Selling the boat means no more storage fees, insurance, registration, maintenance, or towing costs. The savings extend far beyond the item's value. Rule 6. Define enough before you start earning. Here's something that traps high earners constantly. They never define what enough looks like, so they keep purchasing more without ever arriving at satisfaction. Their income increases, so they upgrade their lifestyle. The new lifestyle becomes normal, so they need another income increase to feel progress. This cycle continues indefinitely, and people earning $300,000 feel just as financially stressed as people earning $80,000 because their expectations and expenses expanded alongside their income. The people who always have money break this cycle by defining enough before they start earning. They decide in advance what kind of home is sufficient, what kind of car meets their needs, what level of material comfort constitutes genuine satisfaction. Then they earn toward that target rather than constantly moving the goalpost. This might mean deciding that a $350,000 home is enough even if you eventually could afford $600,000. It might mean deciding that a $30,000 car is enough even when colleagues drive $70,000 vehicles. Defining enough creates a finish line. Without it, you're running an endless race where lifestyle expansion always outpaces income growth. The person who defined enough at $60,000 of annual spending and then started earning $150,000 builds wealth at an extraordinary rate. The $90,000 difference goes directly to financial freedom. Meanwhile, someone earning the same $150,000 but constantly redefining enough upward might save almost nothing. Rule 7. Measure wealth by optionality, not accumulation. The conventional view measures wealth by what you have. Houses, cars, possessions, visible markers of success. The people who always have money measure wealth differently. They measure it by what they can choose. Can you leave a job that's destroying your mental health? Can you take 6 months off to handle a family emergency? Can you move to a new city for a relationship? Can you start a business without guaranteed income? Can you retire before 65? Can you say no to opportunities that pay well but compromise your values? These options represent true wealth. They're only available to people who've built substantial margin between their income and expenses. The person earning $200,000 but spending $195,000 has almost no optionality. They're chained to their income requirement. The person earning $80,000 but spending $45,000 has extraordinary optionality. They can absorb disruptions, take risks, and make choices based on preference rather than financial necessity. This perspective transforms spending decisions. Each purchase isn't just exchanging money for an object, it's trading optionality for possession. Is this item worth reducing your ability to make free choices about your life? Sometimes yes, often no. Remember those 2 apartments? The person earning $52,000 with 18 months of savings didn't get there through exceptional income. They got there through exceptional clarity about what actually matters. They applied these rules consistently, calculated cost per use, applied the replacement test, never upgraded out of boredom, created friction for spending, understood the lifestyle multiplier, defined enough, measured wealth by optionality. The result? Less stuff, more life, complete financial stability. The other apartment, the one belonging to someone earning $95,000 who's 2 paychecks from crisis, belongs to someone who never questioned the assumption that more stuff equals better life. Both lifestyles are available to you regardless of what you currently earn. The choice is simply whether you want to own your possessions or whether you're comfortable with your possessions owning you. The math strongly favors the first option. So does the peace of mind.